What up, and welcome back to Throwback Thursday. This week we're doing The Walking Dead, Season 4, Episode 7, titled Dead Weight, which originally aired on November 24th, 2013. Now, this episode, it kind of starts off right where it left off, but not really, because it opens up with the governor cleaning clothes, and Meghan is playing chess, waiting for him to come over and make his move, or she's about to make her move. And he's like, make your move. And she's like, whatever, why does it matter? You never let me win anyway. And he goes, well, then that wouldn't be winning. You wouldn't really be winning if I let you win, now would I? Now, at this exact moment, we do flashbacks to him being in the hole and Caesar taking him out. And then Caesar's telling him, like, listen, you can join our group if you want, but you have to be cool with the fact that I'm the leader of this group now, because we got a camp not too far away. And there's another guy who's like, no, you can't do that. Don't bring him too many mouths to feed. This guy's from Oz, the show Oz. Great actor. He's in a lot of things. He's always working. So I most notably know him from Oz. And then you have to contribute. We don't carry any dead weight, no dead weight. And then he's like, okay, he's down with that. He's fine with doing that. But Lilly calls him Brian, and Caesar turns and looks surprised at, why is he calling him Brian? That's not his name. But he knows like, oh, he's pretending he's not who he is, right? So he goes, let's see. So, so we got some friction going on here. Not everybody wants him there or not. Anyway, flash forward to him playing chess with his stepdaughter, basically, Meghan. He's playing and they're talking, and she's like, am I bad? And he goes, why would you think that, pumpkin? He's already calling her pumpkin. And she goes, my dad was always mean to me. And then he's like, my dad was mean to me too. So he starts thinking about his past or whatever. And then she's like, are we going to be okay? And he's like, because are we good people? And he doesn't answer, but he just gets up and turns around. But there's a beautiful shot here that I really like, which is him in between the house or the mobile home and him between a tank. I think that was very good to see. At this particular moment in time, he's stuck between being the governor and being a regular, like what he doesn't want. Well, actually, what he does want is just be a regular person. He just wants to be with Lilly and Meghan. That's all he wants. And now he's stuck in between, kind of, and going back into his past, as this whole episode is going to be delving into his past, kind of. All these things start happening. The episode starts, there's a leak in his RV. He tells Lilly that he wishes, that he could provide something better for them. And she goes, this is fine. This is great. She's happy to be here in this community with these people. She's excited. Remember, she was only in that stupid piece of crap apartment. The governor has to go with Caesar and the two other guys out on a scavenger hunt. We discovered that the guy that I was referring to earlier, his name is Mitch Dolan, whatever. And he has a brother whose name is Pete Dolan. So these four guys got to go go looking for a supply run. So they're in the woods following a map that one of the other people that are living in this little community out in the open drew of a friend who was a survivalist that should have some stuff stashed, and he doesn't live too far from there. So they're looking for this guy's cabin in the woods. And as they're doing this, the guy, Mitch Dolan, he's kind of an ass, and he's like kind of picking on the governor a little bit. The governor's just, he's all right with it. I mean, he's not all right with it. He gives him a look and everything like that, but the governor's just like, I'm just Brian Harriet. I am not the governor anymore, okay? I'm not going to do this. But then all of a sudden he senses something. Like the governor has the sixth sense, and he starts wandering around. And they're like, hey, Brian, what are you doing? One Eye. They call him One Eye or some shit. And he starts walking, and all of a sudden he sees a body of a soldier with no head. And it says, liar. And he's looking, and they all look at it and goes, oh, man, who do you think did this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Blah. Okay. They keep going, and then they discover another body later on that says, with the head chopped off, and he's tied up on a chair at a different location, closer to where they're going, and his says grapist on it. So he's looking, and all of a sudden we're focusing on the governor, and this is like hitting the governor a little bit. We could sense, he doesn't say anything, but we sense this is where we're finally getting like an idea of what happened to his wife and kid. this is all like happening to him. It's like everything is hitting him again. And you could just tell by his facial expressions. And then obviously later when they get to the cabin, there's another body inside the cabin and it says murderer. The guy shot himself in the head and he's dead. And it says murderer. And there's a picture on the floor of a husband, a wife, and a child. And he picks it up as just like the picture that he used to carry with him of him, his wife, and his daughter. And he's just looking at it like, what the hell's going on? It's like, what is this? What is happening? We cut back to the camp and we see Lilly is treating some girl's wound. We find out that I think her name is Alicia, and Tara is already hitting on her. She comes up with some stupid way to hit on her, and then they all giggle because the girl's like that's such bullshit or whatever. Like, you always come up with bullshit lines or whatever. And Tara goes, yeah. It was something about the gun, like, oh, you like big guns? I'm more of a Smith & Wesson guy. It was just like, what the hell kind of flirting is this? She's trying to flirt with her. She likes her. These two like each other. Also, there was a mention in the last episode. Tara does give away that she's a lesbian, where she said that there was a girl that she liked or something, and the girl lied to her, said she never really liked her or something. I think something like that. And she said, I felt like an idiot. So this time we know she likes this girl, so we know where this relationship is going to be headed to, hopefully, because the girl kind of looks at her like she's into her too. So it's like, okay, cool, whatever. We go back to the cabin and they open the door, they go inside, and then they encounter walkers. And I believe it was the wife and the daughter of the walkers, and he killed them. And then we discover inside the house are the heads of the men that the soldier killed, I guess, or somebody killed. But we saw that Brian, or the governor, is more of a leader no matter what Caesar wants to say. It's Brian, he knows his shit. And even Caesar's like reaction to Brian killing the walkers. Also, I think that's his reaction because the last time Caesar saw Brian, or the governor, I keep calling him Brian, the governor just gave up and he wasn't even like no attention to walkers. Like a walker was coming towards him and he just didn't care. The walker fell on fire and was leading towards him to kill him and he just didn't do anything. So now he's seeing that, you know, Brian or the governor has some fight in him or whatever, kills both of these walkers. Then we get a scene where they're all talking, they're drinking beer, and one of the guys, I think Mitch, asks the governor something, and the governor doesn't say anything, and then he asks Caesar, he goes, was he always like this when you used to know him? And he goes, oh yeah, always. He has ice water running through his veins. And then the governor tries to switch the conversation away from himself because he doesn't want to talk about himself, even though Caesar knows a lot about him. He doesn't want Caesar to tell anybody about him. And he goes, what'd you guys do? And we discovered that Mitch was in the army and he has a tank. That's his tank. He ran away with it. And Pete is his brother. And Pete was also in the army in Fort Benning. But the interesting thing about this scene is that Pete is holding a book, I noticed, and I paused on the book, and it's Richard III. Or actually, it's Cliff Notes to Richard III. And I haven't read Richard III since I was in high school, but I believe it's about somebody who's trying to get power or dethrone somebody, right? He wants to be the king of England, and he also has like a disability, but he manipulates people. Let me look it up. Okay, it says the play portrays Richard, Duke of whatever, as a cunning, ruthless, and physically deformed villain who schemed his way to the English throne. William Shakespeare's Richard III. Very interesting, but a little bit too on the nose. If you didn't notice that, like I never noticed it until now, and I noticed it after I watched the episode and I went back, and I was like, I wonder what that book was. They had a reason why he's holding that book. It was Richard III, and that's exactly what's going to happen in this episode with the governor, in a sense that, you know, he ruthlessly schemes towards the end to become the leader, even though he doesn't want to. So that's what's the more interesting part of this episode. The governor does not want the mantle until he realizes that this group is the best thing. He's working very fast here. Okay, he's working very fast. So we cut after this scene, after they talk or whatever, they're eating and they're having fun, and you can see Lily's happy, Tara's happy, Meghan's happy, they're all happy, and the governor is happy because they're happy. And then Caesar says something, brings up, you know, where they used to live, and then he goes, oh, it sounds pretty cool. You guys used to have walls, right? And the governor tries to change the conversation. She goes, maybe one day you can, Lily goes, maybe one day you can tell us about it because Brian won't talk about it at all. And he goes, maybe. And then Brian goes, well, there's no point to bring up the past, you know? And then Caesar gets up, he walks because he's kind of drunk. He brought them back beers, and they're all happy, having a good time, and they all leave. And then Lilly goes, or Tara, somebody says, the ceiling, oh no, Meghan goes, the ceiling's leaking again. And then Caesar goes, you should fix that. And he goes, I will, or whatever. And that leaking ceiling is really bothering him because in the same sense, you know, she doesn't know. Lilly has no idea. I guess it's sad too, because for the governor's perspective, she has no idea who he is. But in the same sense, if he would have found her earlier, he could have given her everything she wanted, a whole community and everything. They wouldn't have to deal with Andrea and Michonne, but he had to kill them because every time he dealt with outsiders, bad things happened. That's what it seemed like. And that he was protecting his people and he couldn't just let them go. They had to stay, you know? Because if he just lets them go, it's not going to be good. Anyway, Caesar asks Brian, the governor, to come with him, wants to show him something. And he's hitting golf balls and he's kind of drunk and they're talking and he kind of says, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, sharing the throne with him, you know, and the governor just beats the shit out of him with the club and then drags him and throws him into the pit of walkers. And he goes, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. So he does not want to be the leader at all. He has no goal because he knows becoming the leader is going to make him the person that he was before. And he does not want to be that person. He's trying to get back to the person he was before all of this happened, which is the guy who was with his wife and his kids before the end of the world. And he has a second chance to do this. He even says something like that to Lilly at one point. After he kills Caesar, they say that Caesar obviously fell or whatever. They have to pick a new leader and Pete says he's going to be the leader and everyone starts complaining. Tara says something and Mitch says, shut up, bitch. And they get into a confrontation almost. And he's like, look, Pete goes, look, it's just temporary. I'm just going to be the leader temporary until we could decide on how to vote or whatever. We're going to go looking for food. Everybody stay here together, whatever. So he asks Brian to go with him and Mitch to go scavenging for food. And this is where they see a group of people in the woods that have supplies and stuff. And Mitch is like, we could just take it from them. We just go over there. We got guns. They don't look like, well, they're not ready. We could just take this stuff and go. And Pete's like, no, we can't do that because Pete's a good guy in the bad world. The governor knows, and so does Mitch. They both like, oh, this is terrible. Okay, so they keep going, looking for things, and they get like a few like skunks and like what gerbils or whatever, hamster, squirrels, like garbage. And then they come back to that where those group of people were, and they're gone. They've been slaughtered almost. And one of them is alive and waking up, and Mitch just goes and kills him. And then Pete's like upset about this. And Mitch is like, if it wasn't for you, we could have got their supplies. Now somebody else has their supplies and killed them. We wouldn't have even killed them. We would have just taken the supplies and left them. They could have, you know, fought another day or something. Because Pete actually asked, you know, we should bring them with us. And the governor and Mitch are like, there's more mouths to feed. We won't have enough. We don't have enough now for ourselves, you know? That's another thing that's bothering the governor. So when this happened, after this happened, and Mitch killed these people, the governor knows that Mitch is right. But the governor knows he's going to be the one that's going to end up being in charge. So he goes, no. He goes, we got to leave. So he goes to Lilly, doesn't pack up, we got to go, whatever. That's when he apologizes to her. Like, I won't fail you again, he tells her. And they try to leave, and as they're escaping, they take Tara with them and Alicia, and they're complaining like, why are we leaving? Everything was cool over there. And he's like, it's not cool. I know what's gonna happen. Everything's gonna fall apart. And then they slam on the brakes because there's a fucking like the road just stops because there's all these walkers that got sunk in like quicksand on the road, and they're all like stuck, and they're looking at the governor and in the nighttime, and he's just staring, looking at them, and then he has to go back to the camp. So they have to go back to the camp. The next morning, Lilly wakes up. You see everybody fell asleep on the bed. The governor's getting dressed, and Lilly looks at him and goes, what are you doing? And he looks at her, he goes, surviving. And he walks outside. He goes to talk to Pete, and he stabs him, murders him, kills him, chokes him out. And it's just like, oh, shit. Then he goes to Mitch. And you're wondering, like, why? That's his brother. You're going to have to kill his brother, too. Like, I don't know how they made this work out this way. But he tells him, he says, listen, I killed your brother. And he's like, you know, Mitch has to deal with this. It's like, what? Like, are they going to kill me? First off, Mitch thought he was going to kill him because he killed that guy that survived in the camp the other day. And he goes, no, you were right. Like, everything you said was correct, you know? I had to kill him because he's a good person, you know, and he's gonna always do the right thing no matter who it hurts. And he's like, it'll hurt everybody, and all he cares about is his people now. You know, Lilly, Tara, Alicia, and Meghan. Really, just Lilly and Meghan, but Tara and Alicia too. And he goes, I want to be the leader now. You're gonna help make me the new leader. So he has a great line. He tells Mitch in this episode. He goes, I'm gonna run this camp, and I'm gonna promise to you that you won't have to worry about what we're doing out there, if it's the right thing or the wrong thing, because you'll know that it's the only thing. Like, that's the only thing that they have to do. They know there's no other way but that way. He knows it. They both know it. That's how they keep everybody else safe and survive and thriving. And Mitch smokes a cigarette and sits there and thinks about it. And then the next scene, it looks like the governor's back as the governor. He's got a leather coat. He's ready to be the governor again. Oh, he also says, what are we going to tell him about Pete? And he goes, we're going to say he went out to look for supplies, and he got attacked and he died. Or he got overrun by other people and he got killed. And they go, you think people are going to believe that? He goes, yeah, of course. Everybody loves a hero. So they're going to make him like he was a hero for them. And it's like, oh, shit. So this episode, we kind of get to see how the governor became the governor originally. In the same sense, like, he found those 3 bodies. I feel like that's exactly what happened to him. Something happened. They killed his family. The military killed his family. That's why he doesn't like the military, or ended up having his wife get killed and his daughter get bit or something along those lines. And he trusted them, and that's they lied. That's why he kills them. Because also, doesn't he call, who's he say liar to? Was that last season where somebody says something and it was I forgot. Was that this season? No, this is coming up. Wait, that's how he dies, or he kills Herschel, I think, because the governor Rick's like, we could live together, right? That's what's gonna happen, and he goes, liar. Oh yeah. Oh god, this is great. This was great. Anyway, so all of a sudden, like, he's telling her, like, she's like, I'm happy here, like, because he's saying, like, the governor tells Lilly, like, we're gonna have to go somewhere else, like, we're gonna have to get a new place, or whatever. And she goes, what? This is fine where we are. And it's kind of like coincidental. I don't know. Did he let a walker in? I don't think so, because he wouldn't want a walker to attack Meghan, if anything. But there's Meghan's playing tag with Tara, and there's a walker shows up and starts attacking Meghan, almost gets her. Tara tries to grab the walker, pull him away. She ends up pulling his skin of his leg off, the bone, and then she falls, and then all of a sudden the governor shoots and kills the walker. And then this kind of gives Lilly the impression, like, oh, maybe Brian's right. We can't be here outside. We have to be somewhere with walls. So that's what Brian keeps saying, like, also, he wants to give her something better or whatever. So, yeah, the governor is becoming the governor, and this elevates him even more to say, you know what? I know what we got to do. And the next scene is he's driving, and all of a sudden he looks, and he pulls out his gun, and we see that he's looking at Rick and Carl behind the fence. And then all of a sudden, to his right, he looks, and he sees Michonne and Herschel. And he points his gun at them, and that's how the episode ends. Really great episode. I like this episode a lot. I don't even remember if I actually saw this or comprehended what I was watching when I originally saw it, because I only saw this episode once when it aired. So rewatching it, I like it a lot. A lot. This is one of my favorite episodes so far this season. Probably my favorite so far. And I know there's going to be, better ones coming up. I think the next episode is probably the best episode. Although I don't like the ending, but like, I do like the liar. I remember that's coming up. That's great how that sticks in my head so much, even all these years later. But anyway, I like this episode. Let me know in the comment section down below if you like this episode or not. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, and I will talk to you guys next time. Peace.